When we met last year at the 2019 annual meeting, I made a commitment to the Orange County Jewish community that we would tackle the major challenges that were hindering Jewish Federation from fulfilling its vital functions as the central strategic planning and convening organization in our community. I also committed to complete transparency and open communication with you, the community, as the stakeholders or owners of this organization. As I look back upon these past 12 months, I'm amazed and deeply proud of how far we have come as an organization. In a year that posed fundamental challenges, the likes of which no one could have anticipated, we have made significant progress in terms of restoring the organization's financial solvency, ensuring the alignment of its mission with communal needs, and strengthening its impact in the community. We began this journey as the new year started, January 6th to be precise, when the newly installed board of directors at its first board meeting approved a budget forecast for 2020, which resulted in a surplus for the year, the very first surplus in recent memory. The board also adopted 10 organizational priorities that would guide our actions for the coming year. These priorities are listed on the slide, and you can see how we have been checking off the priorities throughout the year as we achieve significant gains. We hit important benchmarks on the road back to financial solvency. We reduced outstanding obligations by $1,750,000, which includes paying off a line of credit of approximately $800,000 and a $250,000 note. We corrected the improper borrowing and accounting for a number of restricted funds and have now properly balanced those funds. We reduced operating expenses by an impressive 40%, representing $800,000 in annual savings. Today, we deliver programs and grants at a rate of 30 cents per donor revenue dollar, compared to over 50 cents in the past. And we are committed to bringing this down even more to ensure even greater efficiency. This progress was not easy, and the shutdowns caused by COVID threatened to significantly hinder our financial recovery. This was the case, particularly in March, as we began to understand the enormity of the health threat we were facing. We made the painful yet responsible decision to postpone the all-important Voices Luncheon, Federation's largest philanthropic event of the year, which traditionally brings together 700 incredibly philanthropic women. Later, we realized we had no choice but to postpone Solomon Society's late night event as well, our largest men's philanthropic event. Yet despite these disappointing but unavoidable setbacks, I'm pleased to report that through the combination of Federation's tremendous financial discipline and the continued committed generosity and support of Federation's donor base, Federation remains closely tracking to our approved budget. We strengthened governance, oversight, controls, and risk management that included a thorough review of all organizational policies and procedures, implementing financial controls and ensuring organizational alignment of all committees. We refined our mission and purpose through an inclusive, collaborative process in which we received input from 40 leaders of Jewish community organizations and agencies whom we invited to a Federation board offsite meeting in January. As a result, we are now focused on 6 key areas that are the foundation of Federation's mission and of our newly released strategic plan, which you will hear about very shortly from Federation board member Gwen Gluckman, who expertly drove the development of the plan over the past 6 months and to whom we are deeply grateful. If this were all that Federation had accomplished this year, we might have proudly said, Diana. But in this year, like no other, the Federation, like so many other organizations, had to quickly adjust, adapt, and lead in the face of unanticipated challenges and significant community need. In this time of crisis, the board, staff, and volunteers of Jewish Federation stepped up boldly to convene and lead, fulfilling the critical role Federation plays in our community. You will hear more about the ways Federation has pivoted and led from some of our leadership throughout this program. But I will mention just a few highlights because of the significant impact they are having in this unique moment. With economic turmoil threatening the financial well-being of our community members, Jewish Federation established an emergency grant program fueled by your philanthropic dollars to provide many thousands of dollars for food, housing, health needs to several hundred people financially impacted by the crisis. We were also there for Jewish locally owned businesses and communal organizations affected by the pandemic. In April, Jewish Federation provided information, resources, and support to more than 230 Jewish-owned local small businesses as they applied for the Small Business Association Paycheck Protection Program. This included a Federation-sponsored Zoom call with the CEO of one of the nation's top SBA-only focused banks, who provided participants with expert advice tailored to their needs. The unprecedented nature of this crisis has required community leaders to work together to support one another as we collectively navigate the unknown. That's why Jewish Federation created an infrastructure to convene Jewish lay, professional, and rabbinic leadership from our more than 50 community partner organizations, including Chabad centers, congregations, agencies, and schools, along with Federation board members and senior staff, providing an inclusive venue for all of our institutions to raise shared issues of concern and to develop collaborative responses and plans and execute community initiatives and share best practices. The pandemic has also forced us to reimagine the way we engage and come together Jewishly. Our Orange County Jewish community, our rabbis and congregations, our organizations, and our federation have been nothing less than heroic, demonstrating remarkable innovation to keep us connected, creating a sense of community that is palpable despite our need to socially distance. In just one example, the Federation brought together male and female rabbis and cantors representing Chabad, Orthodox, Conservative, Reform, and Reconstructionist Judaism in Orange County for a pre-Pesach event to lift up our community with inspiring words and music as they ushered in the holiday. More than 250 households joined in for this unique communal gathering. But this was just the beginning. Over the past 9 months, Jewish Federation has leveraged technology to maximize opportunities to bring community together and finding new ways to engage people that we had not imagined, but that offer promising new opportunities for the future. You'll hear more about this later in the broadcast. Before I close, I want to acknowledge and thank some of the incredible people with whom I have journeyed this year. First, to our incredibly dedicated board of directors, our many committee members, and our volunteers. Thank you for your tireless dedication to the vital work of community building and for your partnership in this important year of rebuilding. Second, I want to express my admiration for and sincere gratitude to Federation's phenomenal professional staff. Our staff consists of extremely hardworking, deeply committed, creative, and resilient individuals who have collectively weathered many storms over the past few years and yet continue to lead every single day with their hearts and guided by their values. I want to acknowledge, in particular, those staff members with whom I have worked the closest this year. President and CEO Arlene Miller, CFO Marcy Alford, Senior Director of Community Relations Lisa Armoni, and Senior Director of Philanthropy Stephanie Epstein. You have all been tremendous partners without whom we could not have achieved all that we did. Together, our lay leaders, volunteers, and staff make an indispensable team who will carry the organization to greater heights and continued success. Above all, I want to thank you, our Jewish community, our shareholders, our donors, because without you, this organization would not exist. And without your philanthropy, we would not have the ability to have this impact in community that we have. Although my tenure as chair of the board of Jewish Federation ends December 31st, my commitment to Jewish Federation remains strong and unbreakable. I am confident that this organization is well positioned to lead in the community and to steward your philanthropy so as to be highly impactful on your behalf. And I look forward to remaining a member of the executive committee of the board and to working with the leadership team to help this organization reach its true and full potential. Thank you. Now I would like to turn this over to David Siegel for our 2020 financial report.
Good evening. I'm David Siegel, the Treasurer of Jewish Federation of Orange County. From a financial standpoint, we've made a lot of progress in 2020, although we still are not out of the woods and have a lot of work still to do. Our debt was reduced from approximately $4.25 million to approximately $2.5 million as of September 30th, 2020. Our recently adopted strategic plan includes annual payments of $500,000 to repay this debt with a goal of being out of debt in 5 years. In addition to the debt reduction of over $1.7 million, we also significantly reduced our overhead costs and significantly improved our cost controls during 2020. Our cash position improved from early 2020 from only having enough cash to go from one payroll to the next to having projected cash flow sufficient to cover us for several months, as we are just beginning our fundraising for 2021. And the Jewish Federation is currently operating at a surplus, $239,000 for year to date through September 30th, 2020. And we project that this surplus will increase by 12/31/2020. We also successfully applied for and received a payroll protection program loan of $364,000 in 2020, and we expect a significant portion of this to be forgiven pursuant to a federal government law, and that will add to our surplus in 2021. I want to thank you for your past support of Jewish Federation and for your continuing support that will allow us to continue to improve our financial situation and to provide programs and services to the Jewish community. Thank you again.
Thank you, Stephen and David. I'm here to count down 10 things we want you to know about Federation. Number 10, Jewish life is built on community, as so much of what we do as Jews entails coming together in prayer, in celebration, in learning, and even in mourning. Another devastating impact of the pandemic has been the need to isolate ourselves from the very community that gives us our vitality and inspiration as Jews. And yet, even amongst all the pivoting, we have not stopped. We never stopped. What we have done is continued with the holy work of connecting our community to one another. Number 9, the pandemic and the political climate in our country has been especially difficult for our Holocaust survivors as it has triggered their PTSD. Jewish Federation has been by their side throughout this time. Every month, a group of Russian-speaking Holocaust survivors gather virtually to share stories and to support one another. 109 Holocaust survivors from 76 households joined the OC Holobake just last month. Number 8, the 6 residents from one of our Jewish homes for adults with special needs, the Horwitz Family House, had to temporarily go back to their parents' homes in February. The bonds they had built through the past years were kept strong as they learned to use Zoom to socialize with one another, work out together, celebrate Jewish holidays together. Jeremiah Society and Friendship Circle have also continued to gather virtually in support of the special needs community. Number 7, over 3,400 Jewish kids in 2,500 families across Orange County received deliveries of PJ Library books every month. And every month, we have continued to connect the parents and provide creative programming to help give them some much needed respite. In a couple of weeks, Jewish kids across OC will get to participate in Minecraftica. Think virtual game Minecraft meets Hanukkah. Number 6, Teens have been a focus for the Rose Project, who worked this year with local and national partner organizations to develop a new platform for teen leadership development. In October, the Rose Project, in partnership with the ADL, launched its first cohort with 25 teens representing 19 high schools and 11 congregations throughout the county, and currently are participating in this 8-week program where they are building skills to help them counter anti-Semitism and Israel delegitimization while bolstering their Jewish identity and connection to Israel. Number 5, Next Gen, our young adults, continue to connect through some of the most creative virtual experiences, including Facebook Lives, virtual scavenger hunts, Zumba, think the dance and what you're in right now, and trivia nights, and at the same time, connect with rabbis across Orange County through a virtual monthly Torah on Tap. Number 4, women's philanthropy didn't miss a beat when sheltering at home became official on the original date of our annual Women's Voices Luncheon. They reached out by phone, by Zoom, by snail mail throughout the year. They gathered virtually on a monthly basis, and for some, it made connecting a reality. Women's philanthropy leadership committed to bringing our impact stories to the forefront. With their dedication, we provided a Voices on Demand experience with a drive-through contactless pickup. Every woman received their own copy of the keynote speaker's book and nail polish, I'm Not Really a Waitress. Number 3, Laguna Woods brought joy to their community by hosting a virtual concert as a thank you to our donors who reside there. Number 2, Solomon Society was committed from the beginning of the pandemic to ensure their camaraderie by hosting First Friday's virtual Shabbat toasts, and they hit it out of the park with Light Night. The celebrity list was unbelievable. This experience was free and accessible to everyone in our community, thanks to the dedicated leadership who provided underwriting support. We are all grateful for the laughs. And number 1, none of our work is possible without our leadership of our board and committees, our staff, our community partners, and the incredible generosity from each of you, our donors. Every dollar raised counts towards our collective goal. Today, more than ever, your philanthropy is the fuel that keeps our engine going. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Sam Wyman, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm the chair of Federation's Grants and Allocations Committee. I wanted to take a few minutes today and share with you about the direct emergency assistance that Federation has been able to provide our community this past year. Through your generosity and assistance, we've been able to fill the gap in people's lives that have found themselves at an unprecedented crossroads during the time of need here. Now, we've had our Lifelines program for over a decade, and many of you are familiar with that. This is a program where we were able to be a bridge for those that found themselves in temporary financial distress, but with a plan to get out of it on the back end. Well, of course, then COVID hit and everything changed. And through your generosity, Federation was able to adapt its programs and be here for good. Today, when our community members are in need, they're able to use a single application online for both COVID-19 assistance as well as Lifelines. And the assistance we're able to give them is truly transformative in terms of their daily existence. We're able to give food through gift cards to Trader Joe's, Ralph's, Oshie Kosher. We're able to help with shelter through rent, mortgage, and utility assistance. We're able to help with health needs through insurance premiums and prescription medication assistance. And our staff is able to provide guidance and grants management to those in need in the form of family budget coaching, information, and referral to additional community resources. Now, as of November 15th, our community, you, have provided $202,764 to assist people in this most difficult time. I'm pleased to let you know that we received some additional funds in the form of a match from Jewish Federations of North America's Human Services Relief Fund that provided a 50% match to certain new gifts and additional gifts. Now, as of November 15th, we've spent $125,200 $261. And I'd like to just take a moment and share with you precisely how that money was spent in our community through June 1st until November 15th. We've assisted 280 people directly with their needs. That's taken the form of housing and shelter assistance of $78,155. We've provided food assistance for $36,125 and healthcare assistance of $10,981. I mentioned earlier about our partners that we work with, and we're pleased to let you know that we partnered with the United Way to provide $24,500 in the form of $500 gift cards that help people provide for food, clothing, shelter, and very basic needs. This is something that we would do as a matter of calling, but it's so much more meaningful when we're able to hear back from those folks that have been the beneficiaries of your generosity. And I'd like to share just a few quotes that we've gotten from people as a result of this process. One noted, "Thank you for all your assistance and for allowing me to keep my dignity in the process." Another, "This has been the toughest of all years I've been going through troubles, but thank you for being a light in the darkness." And finally, "This is an incredible blessing. What a great email to wake up to. I cannot thank you all enough for being a resource and for all the help you've been to my family during this time of unprecedented turmoil." COVID-19 has been something none of us could have predicted, but through your support and the assistance of our community, we've been able to help those in need meet their basic needs. And once again, I'm able to proudly let you know that when our community is in need, Federation is here for good. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Gwen Gluckman. I'm on the board of JFOC and have been on the board for 4 years. I'm also the chair of the Strategic Planning Committee for JFOC. Today, I'd like to review with you briefly the executive summary document of the strategic plan. Next slide. We embarked on the strategic plan to build our mission, plan, and framework for the next 3 years. We had participation of over 25 lay leaders and professional staff who contributed to the effort. The board approved the plan in August. Next slide. Our first step was to reevaluate our mission. The outcome of a listening session in January with community leaders and lay leaders was a formulation of 6 key goals that stood the test of time over the year, including starts and stops due to COVID-19. Our mission at JFOC is, based on Jewish values, Jewish Federation of Orange County convenes, engages, and leads the OC Jewish community and its partners, leverages its resources to enhance and sustain Jewish life, assists Jews in need, mobilizes on issues of concern to the local Jewish community, and strengthens its bond with Israel and Jewish people globally. Next slide, please. I'd like to now review with you the focus areas, starting with Focus 1. Focus 1 is to convene and engage the Jewish community. Why? To strengthen the Jewish identity in OC with community-wide experiences, a focus on youth and young adults, and very significantly, to pivot to grant making, where we will partner and work with community partners to make the engagement happen, as well as passport to Jewish life grants and emergency assistance. Next slide, please. Focus 2 is for us to lead the Jewish community through crisis, so we are prepared as a community to meet our challenges. This means to convene a crisis task force and security task forces and provide information during a crisis. Next slide, please. Focus 3 is for us to develop lay leadership to drive the community now and in the future with a leadership continuum, intern programs, and training. Next slide, please. Slide 4 is on assisting those most in need with emergency assistance programs. The cornerstone is our Lifelines program, COVID assistance, and to be there to develop other emergency assistance programs as needed in the future. We will continue to support our Holocaust survivors and Jewish programming for our special needs homes under a new operator. Next slide, please. Focus 5 is for us to partner with community organizations because for sure we are better together than apart. With information directories, very critical community partner meetings for collaboration and sharing of ideas and issues, and engage with the interfaith community and develop partnerships. Next slide, please. Focus 6 is on strengthening the bond between OC, Israel, and the Jewish people globally. This will be through team programs, a reconnection with our sister city in Kiryat Malaki and the Ashkelon Coast region, and to work on a community mission for 2023 for Israel's 75th anniversary, which hopefully will be without the cloud of COVID hanging over us. Next slide, please. And the last focus area is for us to strengthen the JFOC's operational integrity and core so we can deliver on our mission for many years to come. This includes attention to our operational processes and controls, special oversight on restricted funds, and transparency to our donors. Next slide, please. All of this takes money. We will need to raise $5.2 million for 2021, $5.8 million for 2022, and $6 million for 2023. As you can see from the chart, the bulk of the money goes to convening and engagement with the Jewish community so that we can strengthen our Jewish community. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your continued support for our wonderful Jewish community. If you'd like a copy of this document, please contact Amy. Amy can be reached at amy@jffs.org, and she would be happy to email you a copy or mail you a printed copy if you prefer. Take care and be healthy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Stuart Wolf, and I am the board secretary. And after all those nourishing and enriching messages we just saw, I get to speak to you about and talk to you about a whole bunch of footnotes, endnotes, and legalese. So I hope you're excited. But we have to go through this. This is something we do at every annual meeting or something similar to it. So bear with me. As everybody in attendance today is a member in good standing of the Federation, you're here to vote. We'll be utilizing a poll feature to the voting this evening. After I read each of the 3 resolutions that I'm going to talk about, you're going to have about 30 seconds to vote on the proposed resolution. Please be sure to complete the poll when prompted, and then I will move on to the next resolution. Again, you'll have about 30 seconds. All right, so with that said, put on your legal hats and let's get going. Number 1, the first resolution does not have a number, but it is to change our corporate name from the Jewish Federation from Jewish Federation and Family Services of Orange County to Jewish Federation of Orange County. The specific resolution is this: be it resolved that the name of this organization shall be Jewish Federation of Orange County, and further, that staff and officers are directed to undertake any filings or other actions necessary to register the above name change with the California Secretary of State, including filing the appropriate amendment to the Articles of Incorporation. It's on your screen for you to look at. I did skip over the whereases, and now it's time to vote. Okay. The second resolution is an amendment to the 2014 bylaws of Jewish Federation and Family Services, clarifying that the board may, 1, fill officer vacancies, and 2, fill director vacancies, including when the vacancy is due to the removal of the director. And the specific resolution reads, new section 5 is added to Article 8, officers, as follows. Section 5, vacancies in office. A vacancy in any board office because of death, resignation, disqualification, or any other cause, including removal, may be filled by a vote of the board in the manner prescribed in Article 6, Section 4 of these bylaws. And number 2, Article 6, directors shall, Section 4.b, will become paragraph 4.c and is revised as follows with inserts shown in the underline. Any vacancy occurring on the board for either officers or directors for any reason, including removal of a director, may be filled by a majority vote of the remaining members of the board at any meeting at which a quorum is present. The officer or director filling the vacancy by a vote of the board shall serve for the remaining term of the vacant position. And now it's time to vote. As you vote, I can promise you I'm almost done. Okay, and now it's time for the third resolution, and this one is a bit briefer. It's an amendment to the 2014 bylaws. It permits the board of directors to elect individuals to unfilled director positions to serve until the next annual meeting of members. And specifically, it reads, resolved that Article 6, Directors, Section 3, Nomination and Elections of Directors, is amended to add the following new paragraph C. C, if the number of directors in office is less than the maximum number allowed under Section 2A above, then the board may vote to add any number of directors up to the maximum by a majority vote at any meeting at which a quorum is present. The terms for directors under this paragraph shall continue until the next annual meeting of the members. And now it's time to vote. Okay, I think I'm still live. I'm delighted to tell you that all three proposed resolutions have passed overwhelmingly, by the way. With that said, I hope you're not asleep. I hope you enjoyed this exercise. And now for some much more interesting comments and commentary, I turn it over to Arlene Miller.
I first want to thank Stephen Gordon for his leadership as our 2020 board chair. Stephen, it is not an easy feat to find a gift that embodies the totality of what you have brought to Federation and our community. We present to you this artwork entitled Man of Honor, which will be delivered in the coming weeks. One of the inscriptions from Proverbs reads, "Happy is the man that finds wisdom and the man that gains understanding." Thank you, Stephen. There are 5 outgoing board members we want to thank and acknowledge for their service. Mark Gorelick has served on the Jewish Federation board since 2017. Mark is a co-founder of the NextGen's Macher's Mark initiative and former NextGen executive committee member. Most recently, he has served as chair of the Federation Board's Engagement Committee and was awarded the Blossom Siegel Young Leadership Award in 2017. Thank you, Mark. Gwen Gluckman has served on the Jewish Federation Board since 2016. She currently serves as the chair of the Strategic Planning Committee and has served on this committee for the past 3 years. Gwen has been a member of the Finance Committee since 2016. She is also a current member of the Women's Philanthropy Council, a role she has held since 2016. Thank you, Gwen. Eric Kramer has served on the Jewish Federation Board since 2017. He has chaired the Audit Committee for the past 3 years. He's also served as the co-chair of the Philanthropy Committee. Eric has been an active member of the Solomon Society since its inception in 2008 and has been a member of its Leadership Council since 2019. Thank you, Eric. Lori Resnick has served on the Jewish Federation Board since 2016. Lori was a member of the Family Services Advisory Committee and has served as both co-vice chair and vice chair of Family Services on our board. Lori was instrumental in establishing the Mandel House and providing guidance in opening of the Horwitz Family House, our Jewish homes for adults with special needs. She assisted the Governance Committee in the revision of the bylaws and chaired the Planning and Funding Council in 2017. Thank you, Lori. Michael Shapiro was treasurer of the Jewish Federation Board from 2017 to 2019, as well as the chair of the Federation's Finance Committee. He also served on both the Executive Committee and the Finance Task Force. Michael was an early member of the Network Leadership when it was created in 2013. Thank you, Michael. I also want to acknowledge Barry Aronoff, Scott Siegel, Michael Stoll, and David Weinberg, who each ended their terms early. We are grateful for the time you did serve on our board. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Arlene Miller. I am just stepping in because we want to acknowledge that we are addressing the fact that the questions on the vote for the poll was repeated 3 times rather than being changed for each of the 3 votes. So while I'm talking right now, we are there. It is coming back up. I'm going to turn this over back to Stuart to step in and lead the votes. So everybody, appreciate your patience.
Okay, everyone, sorry for that. But I love getting all this camera time. And now you know this is actually live and not taped. So let's do this. I think the one we voted on was the name change. I'm pretty sure. If that's wrong, then the host should signal that to me somehow or other. So we're going to move on to the bylaw change that involves the right of the board to fill officers and officer vacancies and director vacancies, including when a vacancy is due to the removal of the director. So let's, whoever's in the control room, if you could throw that one up and let's vote quickly. Go for it. In the meantime, I'll just chat, say hi. Well, I don't see it coming up, so hopefully that will happen shortly. There we go. There it is. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but there it is. Vote yes, no, or abstain. Okay, it's left my screen, so I'm going to assume we have enough votes one way or the other. And now the last vote, quickly, is the amendments to the bylaws that deal with the right of the board of directors to elect individuals to unfilled director positions to serve until the next annual meeting of the members. Go for it, control room. I think we're close. There, well, there's some results.
Hi, we are all set. All 3 votes have been completed. All 3 votes passed. Thank you.
Erev Tov, everyone. Well, this is a fun-filled evening at Jewish Federation of Orange County. You never know what can happen when you come on one of our wonderful webinars. Thank you for your patience. And I can say as Rabbi who is acting as the installing officer that I understand we now have 3 kosher polls that have come through. So thank you to Stuart and to the whole crew for getting that all squared away. Erev Tov, good evening. I'm Rabbi Gersh Silberman, Senior Rabbi of Temple Bat Yam, and tonight I have the distinct honor of being the rabbi as well as friend of Jewish Federation of Orange County's incoming chair, and as such I've been asked to serve as the installing officer for the whole board. Heather, the last time I had an honor like this was back in 2016, when I had the privilege of installing you as the chair of the Women's Division of Jewish Federation and Family Services. That was in the before times when you could gather in person, and we even got to enjoy a l'chaim. Heather, now you have family and friends gathered virtually from around the country. Please God, in the not too distant future, we will all be able to gather together again. In the meantime, it's especially true that during challenging and uncertain times, we need smart, dynamic, and caring leaders dedicated to our community. Leaders like you, Heather. Whether it's serving here at Temple Bat Yam or your leadership of Women's Division and Jewish Federation of Orange County, you've demonstrated your skill and commitment to enhancing Jewish life in Orange County and ensuring that we as a community have a positive impact that extends far beyond. And we know that none of us can lead alone, and that you and we are grateful for the support of your loving husband, John, your kids, Meredith, Max, and Ellie. Even as you are so proud of them, I know that they are all so proud of you. Heather, along with your fellow officers and board members and the outstanding staff of Jewish Federation of Orange County, led by the fabulous Arlene Miller, we know that our community is in strong hands, guided by a genuine spirit of service. As you take up the chair of Jewish Federation of Orange County, Heather, may you continue the tradition of those leaders who precede you and move Jewish Federation of Orange County into an ever brighter future. And together we say, Amen. Friends, in this virtual environment, I know you're all excited to know that we'll be utilizing these polls again for voting in our new board members and officers. Please be sure to complete the poll when prompted by our host, and we won't be able to move on to the next vote until it's completed. Vote 1. I'd like to acknowledge the following members for election to the positions of Board of Officers: Heather Klein, Chair of the Board; Stephen H. Gordon, Immediate Past Chair; Stuart Wolf, Secretary; and David Siegel, Treasurer. Please submit your vote now. And I'm told, looks like we passed 96%. That's a pretty strong showing for our 2021 board officers, which brings us to the next one. Please complete the prompted poll you're able to receive from our host with the following options. We are, let's see here, voting for the directors who proposed to serve a 2-year term from January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2022. Andrea Alfie, Sharon Beck, Dmitry Shabatarev, Alan Gindi, Barry Grossman, Anna Putterman, and Daniel Roisman. I'm just waiting for the all clear. It passed as well. By the power vested in me, I, as the installing officer, I hereby and with great pleasure install these Board of Officers of Jewish Federation of Orange County. beginning their term on January 1st, 2021. Now I'd like to acknowledge the directors who have proposed. I'm sorry about that. Again, please. We are now acknowledging the board members who will be remaining for the second year of their term, which began January 1, 2020, ends December 31, 2021. And we have Kenny Beard, Nadine Durbach, Adam Miller, Laurie Schwartz, David Siegel, Stuart Wolf, Sam Wyman, and term ending December 31, 22. Rabbi David Eliezri, Roger F. Friedman, Heather Klein, and Rabbi Nico Sokolsky. Thank you for your continuing service to the board. Finally, we have our board members emeritus, honorary designation given to former board members to recognize their long and faithful service to this organization, the wisdom and advice they share. Board members emeritus are Hal Kravitz, MD, and Blossom Siegel. And now for Heather and all the officers and directors, I offer these words of blessing. Holy One of blessing, bestow your blessing on Heather Klein, the whole board of directors of Jewish Federation of Orange County. Instill in them qualities of our people's great leaders, qualities of insight and understanding, perseverance and patience. Inspire them to work together in pursuit of our community's greatest aspirations, even as they watch over its daily needs. Oh God, we're thankful for their dedication and giving spirit as they prepare to devote their energies to building Jewish community and fulfilling the mitzvot of tzedakah and tikkun olam. Grant success to their endeavors and help them pursue the sacred mission of our people. And together we say, Amen. Thank you all. And now I'd like to turn over to our 2021 board chair, Heather Klein.
Good evening, and thank you for being at this meeting tonight. Your participation demonstrates that you care deeply about the Jewish Federation of Orange County. I humbly and gratefully accept the position of the next board chair. I am looking forward greatly to working with an incredible staff and a passionate, dedicated board of directors, and with all of you who continue to support us with your time and your resources. Together we have and we will care for the Jewish community of Orange County. In fact, we must. It is our responsibility and such a privilege. As we near the end of 2020, which for many of us seems like a lifetime and also a flash, I am so proud of the work we have done together and look forward to next year. In this truly historic year, and despite immense organizational challenges, we did not turn away a single individual or family who came to us in need. They came to us because they know we are here, and we must always remain here with our doors open to help, with whatever is needed and whenever it is needed. The changes in our lives this year were profound, and yet Federation's pivoting enabled us to continue our important work. I pledge to do whatever is needed to uphold our commitment to this community. I invite you to join us by bringing to fruition and success each of our goals for next year. Our Federation is the one place which belongs to every Orange County Jew, a place where philanthropy and volunteerism and shared commitment are interwoven to perform the mitzvot of tzedakah. 2020 has shown us the unparalleled value and importance of Federation's very continued purpose: to connect us to one another and to offer support, to offer community, and an important intangible togetherness. While physical separation has been demanded, my work in Federation has brought me much needed connection and purpose in a time where I have never spent as much time alone. Jewish Federation as a central place to convene, share the needs of the community, and work together has literally helped us lead through this crisis. We are well prepared to continue this work in 2021. We will do so with a profound respect for every single donor's trust and an operational system driven by Jewish values. The criticality of our role in being a central hub for the Jewish community has never been more clear. We continue to be turned to for leadership in sustaining Jewish life and helping those in need. The strategic plan articulates a clear vision for our future that will result in meaningful and significant impact on the long-term vitality of the Orange County Jewish community. We will be there to meet those needs with your help. I am grateful for your past generosity, and I thank you in advance for your continued support in the shared responsibility to care for this community. As we are about to celebrate the Festival of Lights, I am reminded that the Shamash, like Jewish Federation, is the leader. The light from the candles is spread one day at a time, or in our case, one act of Tikkun Olam at a time, until the collective light shines brightly and unified. In celebration of the strength of our Jewish community, I welcome this opportunity to serve Orange County, a beautiful and extraordinary place which is my family's home and which has provided us with so much. We will work together next year to implement achieving progress in each of the goals outlined earlier this year. And we will need your help. Help in generous resources, yes. Help in leadership, indeed. But what I can almost promise in return is what I receive: a deep feeling of purpose, unity, sense of community, and continuity, and being a part of the long links of a Jewish tradition where we reliably care for one another. Jewish Federation is here for good. As Hillel said, if not us, who? And if not now, when? My commitment to you is to lead this organization with integrity, dedication, passion, and responsibility. It is not just what I do, it is who I am. Thank you.